you are.
Brought to you by Universal Lincoln.
Double treat for me today. Well, first of all, I only have to work 1 hour, and I'm meeting a couple of members from one of my favorite bands, 5440. So I get to start with one of my favorite songs, and if you grew up in the 80s like I did, you'll be very familiar with this one.
Lady seems so surprised. Least inside you get that pretty little nightmare that comes alive. Baby ran, she ran away. Why she ran, I got to say I'm lonesome all the time.
So cool to watch Neil Osborne and Dave Genn, my guests in studio. We've got this on Facebook Live as well. But as that's playing, Neil is tapping, Dave's nodding his head. That's going back to, is that 86? Yeah. Correct, 86?
86.
I loved 5440, still love them. But that was, you've been around since 80, Neil?
First gig was New Year's Eve, 1980.
The first gig. Dave, were you part of that as well?
No, I'm the new guy. I've only been in the band 15 years.
New guy, yeah.
Well, and for 15 years, when you think of a band being together for 38, you haven't had many changes in those 38 years, have you?
No.
Take me back, though, to 1980. What brought you to that New Year's Eve gig?
Well, DOA was playing. DOA kind of owned the Smile and Buddha Cabaret, which is in Vancouver.
Yeah.
It was sort of an alternative punk rock club. And that was the place to play for a new young, out of high school band that we were. And they decided to do a hall gig at a place called the Laundromat. So on New Year's Eve, it was open. Nobody would play against DOA. So Brad, who I went to high school with, who's a bass player still, talked to Lashman, the owner, and said, "We'll play." And he was like, "Okay, but we want 3 days." So we got New Year's Eve the first and the second, and that's when all the other bands showed up and saw us. And
you were a high school band demanding 3 days?
Well, we were just out of high school.
Yeah.
So, and then we had this look. We had Bro Cream in our hair and tight white T-shirts, and we wore military whistles. It was the thing.
But it was the thing, and in 38 years, there's been different things.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Many different things.
But Dave, okay, you've been with them for 15 years.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that you do continue to follow the latest thing and stay relevant?
I don't know about following the latest thing. What's important to the band is that we keep making records. We keep being creative, producing new music, writing new music. That's the straw that stirs the drink, and that keeps us interested, and it keeps our fans engaged, and it challenges us. It's not a challenge for us to go out and play songs from 20 years, 30 years every night. But when we, tonight's set, we'll put 3 new songs in, and that keeps us engaged.
Is that the tough balance, Neil, that you do recognize that you've got fans as old as me saying, loved Baby Ran, loved I Go Blind. Oh, I'm going to go, okay, just a few seconds of I Go Blind. Sorry, guys.
Knock yourself out.
I look at you, I go blind. I don't know what it is. Something in me just won't give it a chance.
I Go Blind. That later Hootie and the Blowfish, they do the cover to that, which was probably a great nod to how great that song was, Neil.
Yeah, it was I remember seeing it in a New York crossword puzzle, New York Times crossword puzzle. And we all, it's like, there's that saying, you've made it when you're in the New York Times crossword puzzle. And it was, the clue was Hootie and the Blowfish's I Go Blank. So I don't know what to think of that. It's wrong. Everybody got that answer wrong.
Okay, so you're trying to stay relevant. You just go with what you want. So now you've got your latest album, and that's Keep On Walking. Dave, back to you. So have you got a release celebration? I mean, it's been out since, didn't you bring this out in January?
Yeah, it came out in January. Yeah.
So this is a chance for Calgary fans to be able to hear some of the new stuff then?
Yeah, check it out. Get a few of the songs.
Get a few of the songs.
Get a vibe where we're at. It's a nice juxtaposition to play some old songs and new songs in the same set too, so you can sort of see how they're connected. It's fun for us as well, because we know the old songs that we play very well. And we really get into playing them, especially the subtlety of playing them, What's the subtlety of playing I Go Blind? Well, it's rhythmic. There's a vocal thing going on. You can definitely feel the energy of the crowd. You see, you get to pay attention to those subtleties that you wouldn't do if you just, my God, is the sea coming now? I think it is. You know, so you can bounce off each other. Like we have a little pocket that we have as a band, and we explore that sometimes a little more. And it's fun.
A lot of bands, though, do rest on their laurels. They just know that, okay, we'll be able to play the same thing that we played back in the 80s.
That's the path of least resistance, though, isn't it? And as I said before, it's important to keep yourself challenged and keep yourself interested. And new material is how we do that.
Yeah, that's important, but I don't mind playing the old stuff. And we're not Frank Zappa. We're going to write some weird new record and not play anything else that you know.
Keep yourself challenged. 38 years, the music industry has faced some challenges. Tell me how you've been able to adapt to those challenges. No choice, you just have to?
Well, of course. I mean, the thing that hasn't changed is music. It's marketed differently. It's the product of it. When our second record company was Sony. Our first was Warner's down in Los Angeles, and then we went to Sony in Toronto. And when we got signed to Sony in Toronto, there was probably 250 people on staff. They had a full recording studio. They had a CD plant. They had a live stage, a video department.
A recording studio in the building.
A recording studio in the building. By the time we did the 5-album contract, the 5th album with them, there was a guy in a broom.
No way.
There was nobody. There was that building was gone. There was 2 guys that were still in publishing, 2 guys that were sort of managing things, and everything else was in New York.
What period of time was that in the 5 albums that you had to do?
That would have been
like 10 years?
It ended in 2001.
Okay.
To something like that.
But still that quickly.
So that's, so the death of the CD. I mean, it was the peak of the CD. Yeah. That's what's making them all their money.
Right.
And then it was the death of the CD, which is, it is what it is. But my point is really that the music still lives on. So we could always get a gig and wait for the dust to settle. And it's starting to settle. I mean, you got streaming and this and that. And apparently likes are worth something. I have no idea. I've always liked us, so I don't need more.
I like you, Neil.
Yeah,
that's all
Dave
that matters.
Likes me. I like Dave. So.
Especially when we get to do the thumbs up like. That's even bigger. That's even bigger. Tell me, Dave, the connection between, Dragon's Den, what's the guy's name? You guys have kind of a neat collaboration.
Michael Weckerly.
Michael Weckerly. Weck is, he's our biggest fan.
Pretty much one of them.
Yeah. And when
richest, that's for sure.
And when he when he engages in fandom, he really goes for it. Yeah. So the Dragon's Den, that was a bit of a surprise for us. He called it. We were in Toronto for the Hall of Fame. We were inducted into a couple of halls. Those halls actually don't exist, but we're in them anyway. If they were to exist, we would be in that hall.
Wait, is that the Indies and the Canadian Music Hall of Fame?
Correct, yeah.
What? There's the Canadian Music Hall of Fame.
There is, but there isn't any actual physical hall that you can walk through.
What the heck?
It's
I thought
not
that was
next to the Hockey Hall of Fame per se.
No.
So you're in a hall that is still looking for a physical hall.
That's right.
But continue on with the Dragon's Den story.
He gave us a call and said, hey, we're shooting Dragon's Den today. You guys want to come down? We're like, sure. We thought we were coming down for a tour, We're going to get a little tour of the studio.
He's like, get out there.
We walked in, he said, okay, you guys are on in 20 minutes.
What?
And you had to perform.
Yeah,
and then Alan did a little pitch. I mean, he bought Michael Weckerly bought the Alma Combo.
This is in Toronto for people who
notorious
aren't
nightclub, right, where Maggie Trudeau and Rolling Stones and all of that. So it was dormant, and he actually went to an auction to buy the sign because he collects rock and roll stuff.
Oh, to be able to collect rock and roll
exactly.
stuff. Yes.
And so he ended up buying the club and collecting us along the way. so
Your collectibles.
Yes. So he would hang out with us quite a bit, and then the Dragon's Den thing and whatever that became. We said, why don't you just start a label and sign us? And he's like, great idea. Let's do that. So this record is record 1 on the Alma Combo label.
I want to talk about this record because it is Keep On Walking. I've got 3 selections, and I know Dave's sitting there with the guitar too, which what a treat. I hope to be able to squeeze that in as well. But if I gave you a choice of playing a snippet from Keep On Walking, Hold My Kiss, or A Sucker for Love, what do you think the audience would love to hear?
I'm not sure who your audience is. So.
Well, they're very intelligent, highly paid, well-educated individuals.
Wow. I like your audience.
Exactly. My kind of peeps.
I don't know. One's a romantic ballad, and
Yes.
the other is a rock song. So.
Okay, so which one though? Okay, you guys are. I'm going to do it then.
Yeah,
I'm
you
picking
choose.
it. Okay, I want to go Keep On Walking, but then I do want to do the Hold My Kiss because I think that is so interesting to hear the ballad. Okay, so Keep On Walking. Here we go.
Because I like you, I can see you carry a dark and heavy load. A rough place, a bad space, you have no control. And though it's not what you want, it is what you have, so have it. And I can tell you are walking through hell. If you want to find peace, keep on walking.
I can tell you're walking through hell. Just keep on walking. I love it. Find peace. That is so cool. So that's the Keep On Walking, and I got to be able to squeeze this one in because to me, Hold My Kiss. When I love the 5440, I love it because of the bopping and the dancing and everything else. Hold My Kiss is more of a ballad. Have a listen.
A touch so gentle, you awaken like a rose. Hold my kiss, take my lips, and soak me deep into your skin and hold my bliss, taste my sip.
It's unfortunate that the clock is always up against us. Can I just get a few words on Hold My Kiss, Neil?
Well, you know, they say that it's all about sex and drugs and rock and roll, and that's a song about sex, but more about intimacy.
It is. It's a lovely song. We've run out of time, but where can people download, stream, buy Keep On Walking?
Well, I mean, if they're, as you say, intelligent, rich, and, you know,
All the things you want in
they
a
should
fan.
be able to figure that out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Come and
you.
see us. We'll sell some records.
Come and see
Excuse
you.
me, vinyl.
Okay.
We'll have vinyl tonight.
Okay, tonight, where is it?
Where is it?
You guys know, Dave? Big Four Room. Oh, Big Four Roadhouse. Perfect. Of
Yeah.
course, the Big Four Roadhouse.
Somewhere
That is
in
great.
Calgary.
Cookhouse in the day, Roadhouse
Once
at night.
again.
Thanks so much, guys. 5440 joining us
Thanks.
today.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Have a collector or special